Now improve your English by answering an interesting question. If you want to get stronger, it's important to practice.
Hi, I'm Eric. It's time for speaking practice. If you've been watching these videos, you must know learning a foreign language is a skill. And with any skill, if you don't practice, you don't get better. That's why these speaking practice videos are so important. Now, they were made for people who are going to take the TOEFL English test, people who maybe want to study at university in a foreign country. But even if that's not you, it's okay. This is still a good way to practice. Practice is practice. You need as much experience as you can get. Today's question is an opinion question, which is a little difficult. But I think the topic, might be easier to understand. It asks you about appearance, and appearance is a really important topic. Maybe you've never talked about it in English, but this is your chance. Anyway, you must be ready to try, so let's take a look.
Speaking practice, number 12. Today's question. Nowadays, people use extreme methods like cosmetic surgery to permanently change their appearance. They do this because they are trying to become more attractive. Do you think this is a good idea? If you see this kind of question on the TOEFL, it's an independent speaking question. You have to explain which option you would choose, and you only have 15 seconds to prepare your answer. Then you have to speak for 45 seconds, giving details and examples, explaining your idea as clearly as possible in that time. Want to try? You know the question, so this is your chance to practice. Just pause the video for a few seconds and try. Then, when you're ready, let's take a look. Example answer. In my opinion, it could be a good idea to get cosmetic surgery because beauty has a big impact on self-esteem. So, if a person wants to be more attractive and it boosts their confidence, then I don't see any harm in it. Actually, I believe that confidence is what's most important, in dating and work as well. But beauty and confidence seem to be closely connected. Being more attractive might make you more confident. For example, I had a friend who worked in a clothing shop. She chose to get surgery on her nose, and her performance actually improved. Eventually, she even became the manager of that store. I couldn't say whether or not the surgery really made her more beautiful, but her confidence definitely improved. And I think this is why she was able to get the promotion.
Okay, so today's question was asking you to give your opinion about cosmetic surgery. I myself didn't know very much about this before. I know I've heard the expression plastic surgery, and I didn't know the difference between plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery. Plastic surgery is when somebody who has been in an accident or a fire, for example, receives surgery to repair their body. Cosmetic surgery is when somebody who is basically normal receives surgery in order to become more attractive or beautiful. Anyway, in the next part of the video, we have some good advice for you. We always talk about getting a lot of experience and practicing a lot. But it's important to think about how you prepare to answer these questions. On the TOEFL, you only have 15 seconds to prepare, but it's still important maybe to think about a strategy that you could use in that time. Well, in the next part of today's video, we'll talk a little bit about that. So, let's watch.
Speaking pattern, It's always very important to begin your speech by stating your opinion clearly right away. Then explain your reason. And then, for the rest of the time, you have to give details and examples, speaking naturally and fluently if possible. Your speeches should have a combination of topic development, or clear order, and automaticity, or natural-sounding smoothness. All right, let's talk about preparing to answer. TOEFL speaking is difficult because you only have 15 seconds to prepare. Maybe you think it's too quick, but let's talk about it a little bit now. In that short 15 seconds, you'll have to 1. Understand the question, 2. Decide and think of a reason, and 3. Plan your speech as much as possible. Let's talk about understanding the question. Understanding well is necessary, of course, but it could be difficult for several reasons. The topic might be something unexpected or surprising. Be ready for anything. There might be vocabulary that is difficult. You may not know the meaning of some words. And the expressions could be vague or unclear. All of this is really scary. You may just think you don't understand, and you don't know what you should do. I'll talk about it more in another video, but you really have to try to get the general idea when there's a few specific points that confuse you. Get the general idea. That's how you can get it. Next, you have to decide and think of a reason. These questions usually give you two sides to talk about. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it's a bad idea? Do you prefer choice A, or do you prefer choice B? Don't waste any time. Which side you choose doesn't matter. Just choose one side and think of why. In other words, think of a reason. Once you have done that, you can say your introduction sentence. You can say, I think it's a good idea because... All of this should be done almost immediately. But next, we have the hard part. Next, you have to plan your speech. I always say there are many ways to answer these questions, but here I'll talk about 3 strategies that are pretty useful. For strategy A, you can talk about the opposite point of view. I have done several videos already in which I use and talk about this strategy. Basically, you just start with the introduction sentence. But then you introduce the opposite point of view. Very quickly say, however. Then, for the rest of your speech, you restate your main reason and give details and examples. I think this is a very good strategy because it works in the short time you have, and it's pretty easy if you practice a little. Strategy B. Giving 2 reasons is the most common. Almost every teacher and textbook tells you to follow this strategy, but it can be a problem. Once again, you start with the introduction sentence, and then talk about reason number 1, giving details and examples. Then you talk about reason number 2, giving details and examples. The good point of this strategy is that it makes your speech very full and complete. It shows you have many good ideas. But it's a problem because it takes time to prepare. Even native speakers and people who practice a lot sometimes can't think of 2 reasons with examples in just 15 seconds. Many people freeze and get a bad start by trying to do this strategy. Then In strategy C, you explain the results, giving reasons 1, 2, and 3. For example, you start with your introduction, saying, I agree because of A, and because of A, B, and because of B, C. I use this strategy in today's speech. Here's how it looked in my mind before I started speaking. I agree with cosmetic surgery because A, it makes you beautiful, and A, being beautiful gives you confidence, and B, confidence leads to C, success in work or dating. That's it. These are just 3 strategies you can think about when you're practicing. One more time, to plan your speech in 15 seconds, you need to understand the question, getting the main idea as quickly as possible. Then, decide and think of a reason. Now you have your introduction. Finally, plan your speech. I gave you 3 strategies to try using. You can mention the opposing point of view, give 2 reasons with details and examples, or explain the results, 1, 2, 3. I know it all looks scary, intimidating, and stressful. But really, if you practice a lot, you can do this without even thinking. It becomes natural and much easier. Key words. Here are the words for today's topic, which asked, should people get cosmetic surgery? The first word is self-esteem, which means a positive or confident impression of yourself. When you think of yourself or see yourself, you feel good about what you see. Next is superficial. This word came to mind, but when I spoke, I couldn't use it. However, it's related to the topic, so here it is. Something superficial is only related to the appearance. It doesn't value anything deeper. There's not much interest in intelligence or emotions. The surface is all that matters to someone who's superficial. But I did mention boost. This word means raise up, lift, make something stronger or greater. And finally, I also talked about dating. Dating is when 2 people who are romantically interested in each other go out to spend time together. Next question. Get a lot of practice. Start by trying the next question. Here it is. Many students are asked to evaluate their professors at the end of the semester. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Try this question on your own. Then later, you can look at my answer and even ask me to check your work, if that's what you would like. I know you can do it. You have the power.
And that's the end of today's lesson. These questions that ask you about your opinion can be pretty difficult because the range of topics is much wider. It's not always about school or education or work. You have to be ready for anything, really. That's why getting as much experience and practicing as much as possible is important. I know you can do it, and I'm here to help you out, so I hope you continue with me and watch all the rest of these videos. Also, I know that everybody who watches these videos must have their own ideas about how to answer these questions, and that's really good. It might start an interesting conversation and be helpful to the other learners like you. So leave a comment below. Finally, come back and watch the next video, like I said. But before you do, make sure you push the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you. I'll see you next time.